stood out for me the most was even the questions that you're asking, man, they were dealing with very integral issues that we need to seriously look into as a movement, not just speaking to the commercial side or whatever we are trying to put. Like it, Fana, you guys, you touched on things that I think even people felt like you shouldn't have gone there.
This is true.
Right?
It was very tricky.
Like,
that episode was very...
I was waiting for part 2. I was waiting for part 2. I'm like,
they haven't dropped part 2 yet.
That's deep.
It took too long. I just like...
But I mean, bro, you know...
When I said I'll finish editing it, right?
Yeah.
And then just put out...
Sure.
Okay, dope. On TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But we'll see, bro. If we want, we can put it out whenever we want, bro.
Yeah, bro.
At the end of the day...
Even what he was like saying, like on the side, which is like, hey man, like he got like a little bit of backlash from that interview. Because yeah, bro.
No, but I understand why.
Yeah.
About interviews.
Yeah. No, like it's just it's so sad that we're in a place in the world where when you speak the truth, it's not accepted as that. You know, people take offense to that.
You always need to be politically correct.
Yeah.
And that's not cool, especially for our space. And I think that's one of the things that SBC move are blind with what we're doing, especially like our vocal space. And I think, you know, this is something that we all share as a passion in this room. You know what I'm saying? How long have we been doing vocal music in our lives? It's like literally our whole lives, bro.
Yeah.
But there always seems to be this ceiling that it hits. And it's because I feel like there's this political correctness that we always want to be in, like in thin lines.
What is this political correctness? Because it confuses me, more especially in our space. In what? The acapella space? The vocal space?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Like not piano, R&B or whatever it is. Because
That's
I
the
feel like
thing.
that's where the beef is. Or that's where the beef should be.
Yeah.
But the acapella.
But my thing is that also I think it's
what are we beefing about?
It's true, but it's tricky, you know, especially from our space because a lot of vocal groups, I think generally around the world have some sort of like church kind of background. You know, obviously with us it's like Seventh-day Adventism. A lot of the big groups in America are the same, but those are cultures that are big, like in America and in South Africa. But in other places, like in Europe and stuff like that, there isn't that kind of mindset of thinking in terms of vocal music. We're always thinking of vocal music. First place to think of it is like church kind of setting.
Okay.
If you're not thinking church setting, you're thinking traditional setting. So there are always these two things that are there. So now what we've been doing for at least the last 10 years of our lives, or 8 years or so, is coming from that space, going into another space which people don't, or people from where we are don't really think about going into. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not where we grew up. Like that's not, it's not familiar. So whereas like some years ago we did that project with the German ladies, right? Sheila. There's probably little, if none, any kind of church background to the group. I'm saying, but the kind of music, the a cappella culture that they just have within that space is just different. You know? It's like how sometimes people can't get that Quaver is not a church group,
bro.
Yeah, I also couldn't fathom that at first.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
I kind of understood.
But most of because that kind of music is that kind of music, most of the people from there will be from a church background. And we must also remember that as Southern Africans, all we know, all we have is church backgrounds.
Yeah.
Most of us.
And choral music is kind of associated with...
It comes from there, bro. You know?
Church.
At least as far as we're concerned. So we're taking that kind of style and genre of music and we're doing different things. We're doing pop, we're doing hip hop, we're doing R&B and stuff like that. Okay. That's already something that's not familiar. So now we need to, first of all, what we needed to do was create the idea. So the persona of the idea that,
Sure.
okay, this can be done. So we've got Africa Pella, we've got Beyond Vocal. Then a little later on came Just Six.
Sure.
Now I can think of maybe Legato.
Sure.
Maybe join that as well.
Sure.
From South Africa.
Sure.
After that. Other than those 4 groups from our own space, there aren't any other groups that are crossing over there.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Okay, maybe Amari might go there now because I'm doing some work with them.
Okay.
So we're starting to do like some the pop stuff and hip hop stuff, whatever.
Shout out.
But also like I also feel like it works with them because they already got the sound.
Sure.
And how it's cultivated. So that sound can go there. So hopefully they can also join that band.
Packed.
You understand?
Sure.
But, and it's not about us saying that, okay, we're differentiating ourselves. No, we're not singing church anymore. Whatever. No, it's just another thing that we can do.
Sure.
Why can't that be a thing that we can do? We can go and perform at Standard Bank Joy of Jazz. And then still the day before or a few hours before, we can be at church.
Church, my brother.
Sure.
And
It's
finish
possible.
there and then go and perform there.
Sure.
So I don't get why it's such a crazy concept.
So you also don't understand what the beef is, basically.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And it's just in terms of this that culture, and I think it's the biggest thing that we've also been trying to pretty much figure out our whole lives. You know, whether it's in the group kind of music settings and even in our own individual musical journeys.
Sure.
Even as yourself, dog, as a solo artist.
Yeah.
It's always like that tricky thing, the fine line of saying, okay, I come from this kind of place and this is the kind of music that that's where you started doing your thing. So we know, okay, I know Ulu used to sing Abona, Mastazim and whatnot, all that stuff. So then what makes it so difficult for us to let you be the same guy who'll sing for us Mastazim and then later on, Yotula, Ekaya Lami, DSTV, Delicious.
Sure.
Come on. Like, you still get supported by the same crowd. Exactly.
Okay, so wait. So I'm trying to understand this. The beef that you're talking about is the people in general.
Yes.
Abantu abasapotayo.
Sure.
Yes.
That are no longer supporting us because now we've stepped outside of the church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah. And it's not so much as like beef, but just trying to understand and having these conversations because I think it's things that are not spoken about in general, dog, you know? And it's there. We live it. Every day, we see it. People see it. They saw. You think people from, the place where I would think that we're supposed to be getting the biggest kind of support from. Think they didn't see that y'all are headlining Joy of Jazz. How many of the people from that community have gone out and bought tickets yet?
To speak to that point, because it's something that we actually spoke about some time ago to say that it's so crazy that people always find it foreign to see groups like Just Six, groups like Beyond Vocal, Legato, thriving outside of the church because there's a mentality that we must only thrive in the church because we are set apart. We are a chosen generation.
We've chosen, my brother.
You get what I'm saying? So if it's like when we're seen elsewhere, we are in a lesser light. I think to answer what you're talking about, is that it's not necessarily beef, but just the perception of people seeing you. And by the way, man, like, just because you're singing at Joy of Jazz, it doesn't mean you're not doing the Lord's work there.
That's so true, bro.
Right?
That's so true.
Because you're still using the gift that he gave you. Just elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that me personally, I've been like battling with for the longest time. And like, I think but my first break into the commercial space was actually gospel music. I did a show with Kaim Tetra called Gospel Alive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was like mind blowing for me, having to learn songs in different languages like your Zulu, Sotho, Xhosa, Pedi, Tsonga. Like it was such an eye opener for me. And then which I got a lot of support for, just by the way,
Sure.
because I mean it's gospel
From
music.
the
Yeah.
church.
From the church.
Yeah, okay.
Then
Okay.
moving from there,
Mm-hmm.
went straight into the commercial space. Channel O, stripped down.
Yeah,
How does that
I remember
happen?
that.
How does that happen? Like how from gospel and then into the commercial space?
Funny story. The whole gospel alive thing, I wasn't even planning on doing that. My sister just woke up one morning. She's like, "Hey, yo, listen, my friend has these auditions for this choir. I want you to come through." I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm not doing anything." It was a time value when, like, it was tough for me. Like, I didn't finish my diploma in graphics and web development. I was chilling at home. There was nothing coming through. So I was like, you know what? Might as well go join her and stuff. Shout out to my sister. She's the plug.
Sure.
Hey, she's the plug.
Sure.
The plug. Yeah. So we get there. She's like, "Yo, come through with me to the audition, like inside." I'm like, "No, I mean, I thought I was just coming to escort you here."
So you're not going there for
I wasn't
audition?
going there for an audition. I was just going to be there.
Okay.
Right? We get inside there, bro. I think what is this? Is these studios in Randburg? No, Rosebank, where the soil. I forgot what the place is. Anyways, we get inside there, bro. I see Kaim Tetras there. I'm like, "Oh wow!" So this is the audition. Like you're auditioning for a choir that's actually going on TV.
Sure.
Okay,
Wow, yeah.
sharp. Then, like, I even met a couple of Adventist friends there as well who were there also trying to get into the space.
Okay.
And then, funny story, Kaya's choir was already set. He was just looking for a soprano and an alto
Okay.
only.
Okay.
The tenors were done.
Okay.
That space was done. He had 3 tenors. It was TK Goodman. It was Tim Nkosi Mangwele. It was Simpiwe Kumalo. These are like big tenor names in
top
the gospel
level.
space at the time. And I think still even today. So my sister was like, "Hey, dude." And Kai was like, "Hey, man, just let this guy audition, see what he's got." You know?
Wow.
And I was just like, dude, you didn't have to do that.
Sure.
But okay.
Yeah.
Then I get the producer heard the voice, was like, "Yo, man, I didn't need a tenor, but
Yeah.
come on board."
Sure.
So that was my first breakthrough
Okay.
That's crazy, bro.
in the industry. And then, we shot, man, I think like 26 episodes. We shot with Ngubeko Mbata. We shot with Dr. Rebecca. We shot with Keke. We shot, like all the big gospel names.
That's when we
at the
started
time.
seeing a lot of you on TV.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
I know that, dude.
Like, okay, I'll try to be easy. Okay, sharp, and, it was a great experience for me. And then that season ended. I was expecting season 2. It didn't come through for reasons that I will not disclose.
Must disclose.
And then, you know what I'm saying?
Must disclose.
Yeah, well, and then after that, a couple of months later, I got a call from Chad. Shout out to Chad.
Okay.
Another plug.
It's a plug. It's a plug. It's a plug.
He was like, "Yo, dude, I'm doing a TV show. It's called Strip Down. We were doing A-lister celebs music stripped down.
Okay.
So people like RJ Benjamin, Reason, who is now Sizwe Alakain, Zion, Mikasa,
Sure.
Jabba, may his soul rest in peace, AKA Casper. Bro, like heavy guys, right?
That's crazy.
Then I was like, okay, so this TV thing, it's a vibe.
It's a thing.
It's moving.
It's a thing.
And we shot 2 seasons of that. Or like that, I think that just opened my perspective in terms of the gospel industry and the commercial space. I won't name and shame both of them, but what I had taken from that was the commercial space is a little bit more organized in terms of how they want to work on their productions and how they put their concepts together. And then with the gospel space, it's more spiritually
Spirit led.
Yeah, it's very free. So there's not a lot of programming that goes into it. You know, not to say that it's they don't put in the work.
Yeah.
They
The work
put
is
in
there.
more. In fact,
It's probably the most.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and then from there, man. So I'm getting to the point where we're talking about the perception, right, of people seeing you in a different space. So now, I'll go back to church, and now I'm getting glares. Okay, like yes,
Which is this vibe?
Yeah, now you're doing something else.
Yeah.
You know, so like the attention and the conversations were now different because now I'm doing commercial music instead of gospel. You know, and then now the treatment just started getting weird, man, because it's like no, now we've lost him now. He's no longer a child of God. He's now.
Do you think that's the thing, dog? Like
It's so real. It's so real.
that perception saying that now you need to be like treated differently. Maybe is that kind of what leads into what I'm speaking about in terms of that support aspect to say, I mean, that's not really addressed to me, so I don't need to buy a ticket. Maybe if you were performing at one of those, you know, the other old day Sabbath vibes, then I'm gonna buy a ticket because anyway, first of all, I'm going there for God, and then I'm going there for vibes too.
Be there.
It's even more crazy because like you're just shifting a different style of gospel.
Yeah.
Like because
But
now
it's the same thing.
it's joy celebration. Now it's like ooh. Now he's left God now. Now he's joining a different kind of belief, but it's not the Adventist way.
What do you say about those that wake up and are doctors, that go to McDonald's, that work at ShopRite, that work at Clicks?
My brother, it's very unfair for people to mistreat musicians in that way because people at church are working.
They are. On that
My
stage.
brother, during a service, you'll find someone outside on his phone answering a call to go and do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's even like far, bro. I mean, why are we there? We're there because someone opened the church in the morning. We're there because that church was cleaned. Okay, you're going to say it was clean the day before or whatever it was. But still, there are people that are there that are supposed to take care of the maintenance of that place.
They're working,
Like deacons, deaconesses, or whatever. That's why they're there. They're there to do a particular or fulfill a particular function.
That's true.
So, yeah, we can discuss it. There's a lot of gray areas here and there. But I think where we are in life generally right now, it's dangerous to have absolutes.
That's so true.
Absolutely not. It can't be absolutely. It is.
Yeah, that's so true.
There's a lot of gray space in the middle.
That's so true. That's so true. That's so true. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. Hey, we've gone in deep. It's a different vibe this one today. It's a different vibe today. Okay, let me do this before because we've got a lot of gems here. Yo, what's up? What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the JOVA podcast. Man, it's been a while. It's been a minute. Haven't been around for a minute. Thank you very much to my boy Brian for holding it down. He's behind the scenes again today. He's had to be in front of the camera for some time. But no, hey, we're back with the bang. Today I'm rolling with my boys as usual. Fairs is with me.
Yeah.
And today we have added another member to the family, my brother Mtana Zahaspa. Show him some love over there. And today we have got a very important guest. The multi-talented, multi-award winning, if you did not know. Man, me and him go back at least almost 20 years, probably a couple of 20-something years with my brother. We're actually talking about this, like the networking of everything. They go back together with Brian. He was in school with Brian, and my brother was at Blue Hills. It's crazy. Like the stories are just so crazy. And I think the biggest thing about this platform and what we do when we come together and we speak about these things, that sometimes I feel like people don't really know just how intertwined we are and just how similar we are and all those things. So just to be able to be here and bring those things out, it's incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love. Clap your hands at home over there for the one and only Leander Macapella, Louis the Don.
What I do is such an honor to be here
you
on
understand,
the
my
JOVA
brother?
podcast.
You understand, my brother?
Yes, I'm here with my brothers. It's going to be such a dope episode.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited for.
Yeah, man.
For
We're
being
probably
here.
already 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I
Then
hope,
the
bro,
introductions
like
are coming.
maybe
So you see what it's
hour.
heavy.
Definitely.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, is that I think the biggest thing is just us being able to be ourselves and be able to express ourselves. Because like what we're saying is, with what you were saying, is that it's just a simple thing as intwana yasekasi,
Sure.
Yeah.
just wanting to make their dream come true of being a professional musician.
There we go.
And why is that so difficult? But talking about that, maybe man, let's do the formalities a bit before we go in deep.
Into the depth.
And let's just get like a background of you, your story.
Yeah.
Just a bit about that. I mean, already got into how you got your big break.
Sure.
But what they don't know is that there's a lot
Happened behind the scenes.
before that happened.
Before that, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like just let's go all the way back for now. Where does your love for music begin? And we'll go into like the vocal music aspect. But first of all, just like the love for music. I know also you are from a very musical family.
Yeah.
You know, your ancestry
Hey.
is full of music. That is like part of the royalty of
Hey, I like that, I like
of
that.
vocal
Yeah,
music.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Part of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
you're definitely part of the royalty of vocal music in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back into that and have a chat about that a bit and pick it
Sure.
up from there. Boy.
Man, I think it like you're saying, man, it all started with just being brought up in a family that loves to sing, man. Like I think my mom tells the story all the time to say that even when I was in her womb, she was on stage singing.
Wow.
Right? It's like crazy, bro.
Crazy.
So, yeah, man. Like since like at birth, I think the most important thing for any musician that comes from our space is that the love of music doesn't start anywhere else but at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep.
Whenever we gather as a family to pray, my brother, I think for me the most important thing was the singing part.
Yeah.
Like, and understand my father is a bass singer.
Yeah.
My sister is a soprano.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Mandisa Macapella.
Yes.
We just said plug earlier.
Yeah,
We didn't say a
understand.
name. We must say the name.
My mother is an alto.
Yeah.
Naturally, tenor. That's a quartet.
Aight.
Already there.
Yeah.
So,
Been a family quartet. as
big
well.
munch. It was clean.
Sure.
Like that's what it was.
Nifunda ma arrangements.
You understand? I'm
Nifunda ma
like, yeah,
arrangements.
man. Like sometimes we also like switch parts. Maybe someone sings
Yeah.
alto, I sing bass, or like we just have fun with it, So, yeah, man, that's where it all started for me. I think where it got real was when I was in primary school.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was a point in time where we wanted to put a group together. Shout outs to Tabiso Mjapero, guys. That guy, he needs his flowers.
Brilliant.
That guy is one of the gems of what this podcast is about. Actually, his musical genius surpasses time itself. I think even his uncle, Gabriel Mjapero, was another.
His name has been thrown around on this podcast a lot, bro.
Exactly. So it's like you're saying, like it's a royalty thing that has just been in that family for generations. So he wanted to put a group together, and my parents actually advocated that he puts me in that group because my parents already knew from a young age that I loved music and I loved to sing. So they're the ones. Shout out to my mom and my dad. Also, real plugs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the biggest
And
plugs.
it's crazy. Sorry to jump in there, bro.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful how your parents support your music or have supported your music.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for years, man, we've known each other for years.
Sure.
But there's at every single time, anywhere I meet your dad, you always check.
Yeah.
Gents, what's going on? Are
Sure.
you guys doing good?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Sure.
And just that love, man, and support.
Just
Aye.
that genuine love.
Yeah, man.
No. Shout out to
For
Uba Makape.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, he's the one that actually fostered the love of how can I put it? For me, in terms of like arranging vocally
Oh, yeah.
and harmony. He had this briefcase of cassettes, bro. I will never forget the gems in that suitcase, bro. Breath of Life. Bro,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Take 6, bro. Like on summer, using a pen to rewind.
Your dad put you on the
Bro.
Take 6.
My dad plugged me in because he loved quartet music. I think fathers of that generation, Jay, they just loved quartet music, right?
Isn't it wild to think, though? Sorry.
Yeah.
Ukuthi, being in that space, in that home where there's music,
Yeah.
and there's a father who is consciously, subconsciously
Yeah.
teaching you music.
Sure.
Like he's taking you to school every day. Every
Yeah.
day
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys are singing as a family.
Sure.
When he says you do tenor,
Sure.
that's class.
Bro.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about from when the youngest you can think of. Every night we're singing those hymnal songs. We're learning how to do those notes, stuff notation, tonic,
Yeah.
solfa.
Yeah.
We're learning that every day.
Every
of
day,
our
bro.
lives
Every
from a
day.
young age.
It's crazy. It's
Up
crazy you
until the
say
point
that,
where
bro.
you can comprehend it. That's school every day.
It's wild, bro. Remember, because when you say that, remember, Umdala used to do that with us.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time where we end up saying, no, sharp, we're going to start the hymn now from number 1.
Sure.
We didn't know those songs. Number 1. Start that one. And we went in notes and we'd go with the notes. And then you do the music and whatnot every day. I think we probably stopped at like, I don't know, 100 and something, days. But like all of those songs we could recall every note. And it's like crazy what that kind of drilling does at such a young and tender age, you don't realize it.
Bro.
But that's the funny thing. What do they expect us to be? When they do that with us every day, they're singing with us.
Like
bro.
So, I mean, shout out to the dads, bro.
yeah, man. Like, but the pressure's real, man.
It's so
Like,
much.
now it's. I wouldn't say pressure, man. Actually, let me put it in a more positive way. They were just setting us up for greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we are who we are because of what they did.
Yeah.
You know, just to segue into the greatness that I'm talking about. You know, guys, we're sitting here with a 2-time Grammy-nominated group.
Listen, loud.
Come on, somebody.
I'm not advocating that awards mean something, but in the same breath, we need to put respect on the fact that we have done what we do at a very high level.
This is true.
That
This is true,
it's
bro.
recognized
Globally,
globally.
bro.
This is true.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That has everything to do with the fact that it was nurtured from a very young age.
Mm.
And shout out to our parents for that.
This is weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Most importantly to our Father God, Jesus.
Come on,
I mean,
Lord.
he's the one, he is the source
Come on.
of everything. But yes, so to what I was saying in terms of the background, so he would play that music. I would always be interested to just open that suitcase and play something different. You know, I was even scolded at sometimes to open that thing when I wasn't supposed to, because that was like his personal file of
Stash.
music. So it's like,
Stash.
you access it when I give you access. Don't go there and
Right.
just
This is true.
like it's not your stash.
It's
So
royals.
I think, you know, growing up, being more inquisitive about music, so moving from that to being in primary school and starting a group with Tabiso. Actually, Sims School was actually part of the group as well.
Oh yeah.
It's a David, yeah.
Okay.
Look
Not
at
Sir
that.
David, sorry, Patterson Park Primary School.
Madison Park Primary.
Yeah,
School.
bro.
When is this?
Orange Grove was a long time ago. Like, because I went to the same primary school with my sister. She was in grade 7 when I just
That's crazy.
entered there, right? So
That's crazy. I went to Patterson Park Primary School.
really,
That is well.
Damn,
Yeah, that's
bro.
something.
damn, that
We
is
probably left when you the following year, because
Yeah.
when he left, I was going to grade 1. So when you were coming to grade 1,
That's when I left.
he was leaving as well. 'Cause
hectic.
we moved to Pretoria,
wild.
and
Yo,
I was going to
That
grade
is
1.
so wild. They're by Orange Grove. They're
Orange
yeah.
Grover.
Yeah.
That's where
That's
the whole
that's crazy.
concept of
Sims was at Patterson Park.
he was there, bro. He moved from there. They went to Sir
Just
David.
David. Yeah, I remember after that you went to David.
So this community or this brotherhood has been there way back.
Yo, bro.
Yeah, because at
That's
some point
crazy.
I even remember I went to school with Tepi's brother.
There we go.
Yes.
Tepi,
My Mela,
yeah, my man, he was there
man,
as well.
There we go.
Karabo.
Yeah, Karab was there. What was it? There's a lot of people that
Yeah,
I
bro.
generally see today. I'm like, oh, I remember I went to primary school. with
Yep.
him. Yeah.
Yep. So from there,
I mean, Nico went to
Presda.
Presda.
there we go.
Yeah,
Because that's the other.
So that's definitely sister
Yeah,
schools.
there was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
as well.
So yeah, man, like we'd meet up at the jungle gym, rehearse some songs. I think when I moved from primary to high school, like literally my parents said that we need to have Tabiso and Leander in the same
High school.
high school
That was
because we
Blue
can see
Hills.
that there's something brewing here.
Okay.
Yeah, the brew was cooking, my brother.
That's how Blue Hills comes.
That's how
from.
Blue Hills came into the picture. And then when I got there, obviously now I was just like, okay, now I know what I want to do in life. When I grow up, I want to be a musician because this is something that's not just a gift, but like more of a purpose.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Not Uti, I want to be that guy. I mean, obviously when I was young, I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm just that guy that sings very well, you know, and then, you know, it comes with that. But we won't go into that because I'm protected. So,
All the amens.
you know, so, and even then, man, like, I just want to speak on the musical capabilities of Tabiso Chance. That guy was like way ahead. He was making us do take 6 arrangements at that time, which didn't even make sense to us listening at the time.
At the time.
Right?
Sure.
And like I was involved in so many groups there, bro. There was Blue Hills Male Voice. There was all these other groups that I was just a part of. I actually learned how to vocally arrange because of Tabiso.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's wild.
He made it seem easy to do that. Like once I felt like he was passing on the baton because when he left, it was just me essentially, like to basically champion the music at the time when I was at Blue Hills College, leading out in praise and worship there with Nkosinathi Nkomo, may his soul rest in peace. And then his own was born. That's when I actually started to vocally arrange for a mixed group. And Tabiso Maketo actually called me in. I wasn't even like there in the inception of the group.
Yeah, because I was about to say that. It's like, how did that group come together? Was it like something that from the time with Tabiso? Because so maybe shortly before that,
Sure.
There was a time I remember you guys had a group together with Brian when Brian was still in school.
Let's go there, actually.
Yeah, before, because now I think that comes afterwards.
Yeah, 65. Yeah.
With yourself, Brian, Luzuko.
Luzu.
Yeah.
We grew up with Luzuko, clean plate from when we were toddlers from Jovo Central Church.
Yeah. And
these things come
Bro, I've
together,
even got, I don't know if I've actually posted that picture, the full picture, but there's a picture of, I think I was like 3 years old, maybe Luzuko was like 5 or something. We were singing. I don't know if Tizo was in that picture because we all just sing together.
Tizo was busy.
Yeah. Tizo was busy. That is. Hey. Ladies, man. Tizo, let's get
Easy.
So I don't know where we were. I actually remember that day. I don't know if Tizo was actually, because that day I remember it was me and Luzuko.
Yeah.
We were singing at Joburg Central. I was 3, he was 5. I was singing bass. I don't know what he was singing. And I was singing bass.
Imagine
Doom. I don't even remember what I was singing.
Bro.
So that's crazy. So yes, that's the 5 of y'all.
Sure.
So let's talk about that. How did that? Do you remember how you got part of that? And maybe we could.
Like I said, bro, it all boils down to Tabiso. Tabiso is the one that always had the music, always had the selection of voices. So actually, if my memory serves me well, we actually found Mtizo outside of church. Tabiso was like, hey man, there's this guy. We need to bring him in here because...
And I wasn't even a student.
He wasn't even a student there.
Yeah.
We had to like, essentially... Exactly, we had...
I wasn't even a student.
Yeah.
At some point, what happened is, and it's so weird, bro.
Yeah.
Like how these things come together.
Yeah.
Remember Mrs. Donga?
There we go.
She was teaching there.
Yeah.
So I used to do some work with Mrs. Donga. Like because I was like fresh out of high school.
Sure.
And she was my English teacher.
Sure.
Back then in the day, when I was like grade, I think it was like Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, somewhere there.
Yeah.
She used to be my teacher.
Sure.
So now, okay, all of a sudden she's here, she's by Blue Hills, we connect, what. She's like, oh no, come do something there. You can come and like be my protege or whatever.
Sure.
Just do something.
Intern
Then that's
teaching
how I
labs.
met these guys.
Boom.
So me when I meet these guys were singing as a quartet.
Yep.
So the Sabbath day were there, and I think you guys were singing as a quartet. I can't even remember what you guys were singing, but it
Hey, my
was
brother.
so dope.
I
But whatever it was dope, bro.
Yep.
And I was like, what? It's just 4 people.
Yeah, and it wasn't the normal one, guys.
bro.
It wasn't the normal
one.
with your anchor hold.
It was the Tabiso level.
Yeah, it was the Tabiso level.
And then you must also remember that I know Luzuko.
Sure.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
I know
yes.
Luzuko.
Yes,
So
yes.
I was like, oh, you here? You singing with these guys? So we kind of talked. Then I can't remember the rest, but then after that we started singing together for some reason. Freaking. Like my brother, me, I was from Solus, you must remember.
You don't know this close how many things, bro.
Me, I was from Solus, my brother. They were singing other music, bro. I mean, I'm not hating on it. It was great music.
Yeah,
It was great.
Yeah.
And you must understand, I'm also an arranger. I'm from. But then now when I come back to this level, I'm like, what's this level?
Slam.
Another
For me,
level.
it was an opportunity to learn, bro. You know, like when you're soaking it
bro.
in, and you're like, this is actually dope. So this thing is possible.
Yeah, bro.
So the stuff, because I was already on to Take 6 and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, so the stuff I hear from Take 6 on records can actually be done by us.
Yep.
No way.
Let's
bro.
go.